It is MKE in the Morning on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey everybody, we are back. It's MKE in the Morning coming at you live from the American Family Insurance Studio, and I'm really happy. It's always fun having guests in, and we have a very special guest, Melrilka Velez, Senior VP, Senior Director of Marketing at Associated Bank. We are plugging this incredible event that you guys are going to be doing. You're partnering with the Women's Fund of Greater Milwaukee for this event on November 18th at the Pfister, and we have been discussing, about ways that we think that we can advance diversity in the workplace, and just kind of talking about the importance of women empowerment, and and understanding the power that women do hold. And you had mentioned before we went to break that there was a little bit more that you wanted to talk to us about.
Yeah, thanks, Mel. I'm really excited about the event with the Women's Fund of Greater Milwaukee, which, in case you missed it, the mission is to activate philanthropy to advance equity for women. And I already mentioned a little bit about our main speakers, who's Abby Phillip, senior political correspondent for CNN. She is a powerhouse, as well as our very own local Dr. Joan Prince, who is from UW-Milwaukee. So they're going to be having this conversation about disruptors and changing the power dynamics. And I'm really interested to hear about their experiences and have a conversation with that in the community. But one of the other things that we do with the annual event each year is that we also recognize people in the community. So we are going to be celebrating this year disruptors. And when we think about disruptors, we really think about people who are changing the status quo, right? They're creating social change. They're innovative and they're breaking new ground. They're those people, those are bold thinkers. They are brave. They lead by example. They're inspiring others. And ultimately, all of that is in the aim of shifting attitudes, behaviors, and culture. So in addition to our two awesome speakers, our event sponsors will have the opportunity to name disruptors, from all, and it's so great to see women from Milwaukee in all walks of life being recognized on that stage. And also, I mentioned I had a little bit of news. So Associated Bank, as the signature sponsor, has some great news for you. We have selected you, Melanie Ricks, as one of our featured disruptors in Milwaukee.
Wait, what? Oh my God.
Yes.
I was not expecting that. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
I stopped twerking, Mel. This is serious.
That is right, Mel. You are very deserving of this recognition. I know you've met a couple of my other colleagues at Associated Bank during the Your Money Works Here segment, or Making Your Money Work segment, and everyone who comes in contact with you is just so inspired and so impressed. And I've been listening to you since, I'm going to a little crush on you a little here. I've been listening to you since The Truth started, and I've been following your journey as you continue to use your voice and use your platform to impact the community and just really share your positive and authentic self with the community. In addition to that, I really see you every day. You talk to people who maybe you share their point of view, maybe you don't. But you are just holding a space for them, and you're holding a space for this conversation, these really important conversations that we need to be having as a community. And, ultimately, that leads to change. And that's what we do at the Women's Fund. And that's why Associated Bank, like I said, is so proud and excited to name you our featured disruptor this year.
Thank you so much. Wow. Try not to cry. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Seriously,
very deserving.
That really does.
Very
Thank
deserving.
you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Really, that really means so much to me. Wow. Ooh. You guys, I wasn't expecting that.
All right, so if you want to see Mel, again, that event is on November 18th at 11:30 at the Pfister Hotel. And you can, if you want to sponsor that event, if you want to attend that event, please visit womensfundmke.org to learn more and purchase tickets. And we really hope to see Milwaukee out representing and being part of this important conversation.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay, thank you. Wow, I'm actually speechless. I really am. So thank you for that. That doesn't happen too often for me. Wow. Okay. I have to ask you, because you kind of talked about like what a disruptor is in your mind. How do you know when you are disrupt? You know what I mean? Like, how does a person recognize that within their self?
Yeah, that's
and that's
great.
that's just like your own opinion, in your opinion.
Absolutely. Well, and I'll relate it a little bit back to women because I think with women, we have a really hard time with this. We have a hard time thinking of ourselves as disruptors and that we're changing. We're just living our life. We're just doing our thing. We're trying to make lives better for, for the organizations that we lead, for the families that we support, for the young women in our life that we know are looking at us as an example. And so sometimes we're just doing our work, and it's hard for us to, take our heads up and say, oh yeah, I am making a difference. I am seeing progress. That's exactly what I love about this event with the Women's Fund is that every year, we pick a different theme, a different topic to convene the community around, and then we recognize one another and we lift one another up. So, I think that it's eye-opening to be part of this event and go and think of yourself of, oh yeah, I am a disruptor. I do give money to a regular cause like the Women's Fund to see change in my community. I am a philanthropist. Some of those like big words, and we kind of have that like humble, or we don't want to step into that recognition. So I think that that self-love and seeing that in yourself, but then also recognizing it in others. And I think that's one thing we can do as women is see that in each other and call each other out for that.
Absolutely. And so in this event, and I'm kind of looking a little bit more at the description, and you say that you guys are going to be addressing systemic issues, convening the community to change attitudes, behavior, and culture. And that's a lot, and I feel like that's something where it takes a village, but I believe it takes a village in all things. How is it that you think we can come together as a village to continue to have these conversations even beyond this event? Because it doesn't end there, obviously, and it's going to be an incredible event to gather and to have these discussions and talk about being a disruptor and changing power dynamics. But how is it that we continue to do that even beyond November 18th?
Yeah, that's a great question, Mel, and that's one of the things that's so rewarding about doing these events, right? Is that the Women's Fund puts on this annual event, and we bring several hundred women and leaders and people from the community together. And then we have this, we plan this awesome event, and we all walk away so inspired. But then the important thing is the ripples that happen after that, right? And how do we walk away from that event with, one or two takeaways of saying, yeah, this is what needs to change in my community, or this is the conversation I want to have next. So I know what the Women's Fund will do is post the event is we will continue to host, smaller, more intimate events to follow up on that conversation. We encourage people to connect at the event as well and take that initiative and continue that conversation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I feel like, I get inspired, I really do, and then I'll read about something in the news or I'll see something, and it kind of deflates me a little bit, but we're only human, and I have to remind myself that the conversation does continue, the marathon continues. It's not one of those things where we're not going to necessarily see change happen overnight, but it is going to be change that happens, as time progresses, which I think is important to have that patience and that understanding that, yeah, you may not be completely breaking the mold right now, but you are. You're chipping away.
That's right.
You're chipping away.
You mentioned Dr. King earlier, and I always think about that. The arc bends towards justice, right? So it does take time, and that's why the Women's Fund exists, is to continue bending that arc to, activate philanthropy. So essentially, we have this endowment so that you give today, but we give forever.
Right.
That money, those resources, that leadership is going to be there, sustained for whatever women need today, whatever women need tomorrow. The Women's Fund is going to be there to respond and continue to advance equity and adjust those attitudes, influence behavior, and shift culture.
So we've been talking a lot about women, which obviously this event is focused around, but is this event for men as well? I have to ask.
Absolutely.
Can we come?
Absolutely.
The guys were too shy to ask, so I'll ask for them.
I Absolutely. I expect men to be there. You better be there.
Man, this sounds cool.
Yeah, and you will see my husband, who is the number one feminist in my life, at the head table.
I love that.
So absolutely, it's important that men are part of this conversation.
Yep.
Men are with us at the table. they have recognition and they also grow their understanding because it's a complex issue. This idea of gender and race and intersectionality. It's something I think we're all getting our heads wrapped around, men and women. So yes, absolutely, men are encouraged and will be there as well.
Hey, DZ, Zach, you guys hear that?
I'll be there.
I'm trying to put up. Hey, Marilka, necesito unos boletos. Okay?
Y'all need a DJ?
He's looking for that family hookup. He's looking for that family hookup.
Exactly.
Hey, hueva!
En la familia.
En la familia y para la familia.
Shout out Vin Diesel.
I'm already knowing her. They call you Mari, don't they?
No, Marilka.
Marica?
Marilka.
Straight up Marilka?
Marilka. Siempre Marilka.
Siempre Marilka.
Siempre
Wow.
Marilka.
I was
Marica.
gonna say, families always shorten the name. I'm like, yo, they ain't short your name.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I guess I got in a lot of trouble. Always the full name.
Okay, that is really funny. Well, Marica, did I say that?
You did.
Thank you. Awesome. Senior VP, Senior Director of Marketing from Associated Bank. Thank you so much. We are really looking forward to the Women's Fund of Greater Milwaukee event on November 18th at 11:30 a.m.
Yeah.
And thank you again.
Thank you,
I'm
Mom.
really excited. I
Yes,
really
we
am.
are excited
It's
to
an honor.
celebrate you there.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
So much. Thank you.
Thank
so
you for
much.
having me.
Of course. Thank you. Milwaukee will be back. It's
Yeah.
MKE in the morning.